Hi, I'm Brant at Crocker Farm Auction, and I want to talk to you again today about Thomas Commeraw. This is an interesting example in that you've seen me, maybe if you've watched some of the other videos, talk about his early period of work, which closely parallels the work of the Remy and Crolius families. And then you've seen me talk about his later work where he's stamping designs into the clay. And one main distinction between those two bodies of work is that there's a slightly different maker's mark. On the later ones, his will bear some variation of Commeraw's Stoneware, Corlier's Hook, New York. Corlier's Hook being the part of the city he was potting in. And you can watch some of the other videos if you want to see me expand on that. But the earlier period will only say Corlier's Hook and New York. And Corlier's Hook on that mark has a slightly different spelling. And again, you can see some of my other materials on the web if you want to check that out. But what's interesting about this is it sort of falls between those two periods. Not long after he made this jar, he's going to abandon these vertical handles that you sometimes see on the earlier work. You don't very often see it on the later work. And he's also going to start stamping his designs into the clay. Now, it's possible he had already started stamping the crescent designs into his work when this piece was made, but I think that in all likelihood he had not started doing that. So you can see though these designs that I'll talk about in a second, I believe are sort of a predecessor to the stamps. So he made some sort of conscious decision around 1800 to stop doing elaborate and size designs and streamline his production process. And I think that an early attempt at that was these semicircles. Now, he's not stamping them, but he's using a compass to make them. And if you look closely, you'll see a dot in the middle of each of these. And the dot actually becomes kind of a decorative treatment in and of itself, but the dot is there because he was using a compass. Anyone who remembers using a compass in math class knows that that needle will make that sort of a dot. But yeah, you see these semicircles, which are reminiscent of the swag and tassel designs he was using later, just a lot more primitive. You see on the front here, it only bears the stamp Commeraw's Stoneware. And he will, you'll see in his later work, he'll use all sorts of different variations of the different lines of type that he has. He has Commeraw's, he has Stoneware, he has Corlier's Hook, and he has New York, and he'll use all sorts of different combinations of those. But it's my belief this was probably made sometime around 1800 or so. There's no way that he was not using the stamp by around 1802. And I think that it's more like 1800. But anyway, yeah, this is just an interesting sort of transitional piece. One of the very earliest pieces that bear this stamp that is one of the more famous maker's marks in all of American stoneware.